Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Coming, I've got a bit of an exclusive for you. Welcome to Monday's DCEU Daily, and you're here to find out why Wonder Woman 1984 was really delayed, because we were told a very cozy story of originally the film being released in June 2020. Then they pushed it forward to 2019. Then they pushed it back to 2020. Now, we were told a couple of days ago this was because they wanted to give the film room to breathe. But when they did kind of push it forward, they kind of were a bit nervous about only having Shazam as the only DCEU film released in 2019. But then they changed their minds because Walter Hamada and Peter Safran had come up with this DC Dark label. They were going to do the Joker movie. So they were kind of a bit more comfortable. But basically what happened was, once Peter Safran and Walter Hamada came in and saw what had been done so far with Wonder Woman 1984, they were quite concerned, and they spoke to the studio and they said, these guys need more time to do this film. It's not in the right condition. It's not the way we want to push this franchise forward. And so Warner Brothers agreed, because Peter Safran and Walter Hamada were brought in to sort this franchise out. And when I say sort this franchise out, it doesn't mean I suddenly don't love Batman v Superman and Man of Steel. And I hate that I have to keep on saying that every morning, because every time I kind of give some balanced views about the franchise or Zack Snyder, people jump on me. If I say something balanced, it's because I'm thinking of DC and the DCEU as a franchise in the future, and because I want this to be successful and still full of great movies. So always remember, what I say doesn't mean I dislike any of what Zack did. I love Zack Snyder, and you need to understand what a balanced view is. Anyway, so they came in and they said, we want to, we've been brought in to sort this out, and we want to give creatives the right amount of time to make the best film that they can. So, in fact, Patty Jenkins was very, very happy with that, and Gal was happy, and everyone was happy. So, ultimately, that's why the film was delayed, because Peter Safran came in, Walter Hamada came in, and they both said, you know what, this film needs more time to develop. That's what they did, and I think you're going to see a better film for it. And also, what I think is that all these rumours you're hearing, like maybe Cheetah becoming Cheetah because she wants to be like Wonder Woman, probably is something that was being done before Walter Hamada and Peter Safran came in. It'll be very, very interesting what happens there. What do I think? I think Cheetah has got a great origin. I don't think you should mess with it. What they're proposing, which is the wish fulfillment, wishing to be Wonder Woman and it going wrong, I think it's a great idea. And normally, if it wasn't Wonder Woman and it wasn't Cheetah, I'd say, yeah, that's going to work. But you're just going to piss off so many hardcore comic book fans. And I think the DCEU's done enough of that now. And as I say, love the movies. I love this franchise, but it's pissed off hardcore audiences. Again, a balanced conversation. That's what I'm talking about. And I think that's what you've got. I mean, what I took from the test screening of Shazam, and I haven't seen the theatrical release yet, as I keep on saying, and I hear it's very different. And the surprises people are talking about, I didn't see in the film. I know about them because people have told me, but I'm not going to reveal that because I don't think that's right. At this stage, we've still got, a week or so before it's released properly. But listen to this, get this, 3.5 million for the early screenings of Shazam, which beats the early screenings of Aquaman. So already Shazam's beaten the kind of Aquaman Rotten Tomatoes score. I think the final score for Aquaman is 68%, and I think it stands at 95. It started at 97%, went down to 93, now it's gone back up to 95. That's just after over 40 reviews. That's very, very impressive. This film is going to hit big because this film ticks so many boxes. I'm kind of torn if maybe they should have released a trailer that kind of gave people a fair reflection of what this film is without spoiling it. But if the mainstream audience do flock to this film, and I think they will with the kind of tracking of over 50 million over 50 million weekend in the US box office, I think people will flock to this and they'll see a movie with so many different tones banded together to make one whole entity, and it's beautiful. For me, and as I say, I'm not into spoilers, but I'm going to talk about something we already know, and that's these two characters here. I think that both these characters are wonderful, and they represent a lot of young boys and girls out there. The foster care system, one's in the foster care system and one's disabled, right? Or kind of semi-disabled, right? This is a great story. So you've got one character who's been, ferried around into the foster care system. And he's fed up. He doesn't want another family. He just wants to leave school, get a job and support himself. But legally, he can't do that. And then you've got this disabled boy who's he's a very positive kind of entity. He loves superheroes. He loves Superman. And of course, it's wish fulfillment for him because he's disabled. And this is why Shazam is a beautiful story. But then you bring in the Shazam family into the mix. And the cast of this family, if you want to talk about representation, good representation, this family are it. Why do I say that? And I don't know what ethnicity they are in the comics, and who cares? But what they've done is cast, a kind of multicultural cast right here. Not only can they act, and they haven't just been cast because they can kind of tick some boxes. They actually can bloody well act. But the personalities and the mixtures of them together are beautiful. So this works as a creative piece. And this is what I love about this film. It's not screaming its representation, it's just doing that. And good representation does it. Because I've said it before, representation should be something that happens automatically. Once you go on a mountain or rooftop and shout it out, you're acting like you're doing minorities and women a favour, and you're not. It should be something that's given, that everyone has an opportunity to be in films and TV and direct and produce and everything. And the best person, no matter where they're from, what colour they are, gets the job. That's the idea. And you shouldn't have to stand up. And this is what went wrong with Captain Marvel. Because it was the MCU's first female-led movie, they went too far and they triggered people. Whether they should have said, you know what, this is a female, we're going to show you a female lead, this is her, that's it. We're not doing her a favour. We shouldn't be saying, look everybody, we've got a female. It should just be automatic. It's not like it's the first female we've ever seen in a film, but this is how these people are acting. And for the 21st century, Hollywood do act a bit weird and backwards over these situations. So absolutely, I love the diversity and the representation in Shazam because it does it the right way. It casts talent. And ultimately, that's all that matters. But Walter Hamada and I just said his name, Peter Safran, that's it. God, really forgetful, you know. But anyway, yeah, Peter Safran are turning this franchise around. And it's taking them no time at all. But how have they done this? Because they're behind the success of the Conjuring franchise, right? That's where their background is. They worked at New Line Cinema, Walter Hamada, Peter Safran, James Wan, David F. Sandberg. All these people are from this little studio called New Line Cinema. That's been around since I was a boy. He was behind the Nightmare on Elm Street films, which was behind the Lord of the Rings films. Obviously, Warner Brothers own New Line Cinema, so it's a subsidiary company. And they came up with this idea when they realised the Christopher Nolan godfathering this franchise just wasn't working because there were too many cooks were spoiling the broth. So they just needed to make a decision how they could turn this thing around to please the critics and the mainstream audience. And they come up with this idea of implementing New Line Cinema to make these films, to get Peter Safran and Walter Hamada in. And the job they're doing is fantastic. It really is. Because what Shazam is, it takes Feige's concept of the MCU solo movie and shoots it up 20 billion stratospheres. That's what it does, right? Because what it does is, Shazam isn't like a lot of people say, oh, look at the DCEU trying to copy the MCU. But Shazam goes beyond that. because an MCU solo film just goes through the motions until they can get to the next Avengers movie. But what Aquaman has done and Shazam has done is something incredible, because it's a film that focuses within that film and the universe and those characters, and it wants to be as good as it possibly can. And Shazam does this even better. You're watching this film because you want to watch this film, not because it's just another stepping stone within a franchise and you feel you have to watch it. You need to watch this film because it's a bloody good film. And that's the difference. And what they're doing is they're putting all the time and effort and love into each movie instead of saying, here's the big picture, these are just little stepping stones. And here's the difference between the Peter Safran and Walter Hamada mentality. And this is why I like it so much. It really is, And I mean, no matter how much you love Zack Snyder, how much you love the pre-DCEU of Walter Hamada and Peter Safran, something truly exciting is happening here. There's nothing more beautiful than listening to critics and everyday people saying they love Aquaman, that they love Shazam, that the DCEU is turning it around. They're beautiful words to say. Now, I know it's a bit insulting in a way to Zack and the pre-Safran Hamada DCEU, but what also it says is that, wow, the mainstream audience are coming to the table, and they're not coming to the table because Walter and Peter have kind of sold the DCEU soul to the devil. What they've done, they've just made this universe more accessible to the mainstream audience, and there'll still be kind of films like Batman v Superman, I'm sure. And I think there'll be a mixture of films. We've got Joker movie, which is not a DCEU movie. It's the worlds of DC, of course. It's the Black Label. But what I do see here is an accessible franchise with a multitude of tones and universes. And I think, my friends, that is absolutely fantastic. And I couldn't be more excited for the future of the DCEU. Thanks for watching, everyone. Please like, share and subscribe. And I'll see you for another DCEU Daily tomorrow.